official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Welcome back to St. Petersburg. We are at Tropicana Field, the Blue Jays' first game here at Tropicana Field. It's a 4-game series against the Rays. Blue Jays looking for their first win of the season. Let's take a look at the lineup for John Gibbons' Blue Jays. Top of the order, Steve Pearce. He is hitting leadoff for the 6th time in his career. And then right behind him, Josh Donaldson had a good season opening series against the Orioles. He went 4 for 9 with a walk. And Jose Bautista, he actually likes hitting against the Rays. 31 career home runs in 136 games for the right fielder. Morales, Tulowitzki, Martin. Smoke back at first, Kevin Pillar in center, and Darwin Barney makes his first start of the season at second base.
They will face Blake Snell, and big things are expected from Blake Snell this year. Minor League Player of the Year in 2015. He started last season in the minor leagues, and he was called up at the end of April to face the Yankees in his big league debut. He ended up with 19 starts, really with mixed results as you look at the numbers right there. At times brilliant, other times not so much. Problem throwing strikes consistently. He averaged less than 5 innings pitched per start last season, but he did have 98 strikeouts in those 89 innings, so it shows you that the stuff is there for Blake Snell.
Blake Snell is very interesting, and the Rays have high expectations for Snell. Steve Pearce hitting leadoff tonight. Here's the first pitch of the ball game. It is down low, and Pearce takes ball 1. The appeal down to the first base umpire, and it's called a strike. That's Mike Winters down at first base. Pearce, as we mentioned, only 5 previous starts in the leadoff spot, but he is 5 for 9 with 2 home runs and 4 RBIs hitting first.
And what an at-bat he had last night in the 9th inning against Zach Britton. His buddy Zach Britton is tough as anybody in the American League, and I thought for sure he was going to come through.
Bases loaded, 1 out, and Pearce fouled off pitch after pitch, but Britton got him to ground into a game-ending double play. 1-2 to Steve Pearce.
Well, what you're going to find from Blake Snell with 2 strikes, he's got a great curveball. Tried to bounce it right there, but Pearce wasn't biting on that one. He'll get a lot of strikeouts with that curveball.
There's a breaking ball for his strikeout. That's the first out of the ball game. Let's take a look at the defense for Tampa Bay. Behind the pitcher, Blake Snell. In left field, Alex Smith, new Tampa Bay Ray in left field. The Gold Glover, 2-time Gold Glover in center is Kevin Kiermaier. Steven Souza Jr. is in right. Evan Longoria, he too has 2 Gold Gloves to his credit. Beckham and Miller up the middle. Logan Morrison at first, and Jesus Sucre making his first start of the season behind the plate for Blake Snell.
Well, it's as good as it gets out there in center field. Second player to win multiple Gold Gloves for the Tampa Bay Rays. Look, you mentioned the other guy, Evan Longoria. He's got a whole bundle, but this guy is as good at it as it is in center field. He can run, he can throw, and he's fearless. Not like the Blue Jays center fielder, Kevin Pillar.
Yeah, they're very similar, and I think they both play off one another for sure. Yeah. They both have a lot of respect for each other.
He beat out Kevin Pillar for the Gold Glove last year.
Sucre took that foul tip off the bat of Josh Donaldson. It's an 0-1 count to the third baseman. Hits this one in the air into shallow center. Miller going back. Beckham come back. Here comes Kiermaier, and he's got the speed to close ground quickly. Kevin Kiermaier, a terrific defender. In fact, he won a Platinum Glove in 2015 as the best defender in the American League.
At any position, watch where he starts from. He's actually shading him to right field on the other side of second base, but you can hear him all the way up here in the booth. You can hear Kiermaier taking charge in center field, calling off Smith, the outfielder, and Miller, the second baseman, to make that play. What range he has out there in the outfield.
A terrific athlete. He's got great speed, and he really works hard at his craft, much like Kevin Pillar. They're very similar in the way they work. This is Jose Bautista batting with 2 outs and nobody on. Upstairs, Bautista picked up his first hit of the season, leading off the 9th inning against Zach Britton in last night's game. Blue Jays threatened but couldn't get the big hit once again. Two and 0 to Bautista. Jose coming off a 22 home run season a year ago. Of course, he dealt with 2 different stints on the disabled list.
Got off to a great start in spring training. I mean, the bat speed was back when we saw him at the beginning of spring training. He was pulling balls to left field. We saw him hit a ball out in right field also. There are the numbers in the spring. Then he went to the WBC, played there, had success there, and then missed a couple of days with a minor injury. And right now he's just working his way back, getting that timing back.
4th pitch walk to Bautista. He'll go to first with 2 outs. That's one thing Jose does as well as anybody in the game. He'll make you throw it over, and for the young lefty, it's difficult for him. He has had trouble commanding his pitches.
That's what I mean about the walks per 9 innings. The Blue Jays saw him a couple of times last year, and they coaxed 5 walks out of him in that one start. But he averaged 5 per 9 innings. That's why he was only averaging about 5 innings per start last year. He just throws too many pitches outside of the strike zone.
Kendrys Morales. Sucre will go to the mound, and Blake Snell having trouble finding the strike zone. Morales picked up his first hit of the season last night against Zach Britton, batting right-handed. Those are his numbers from a year ago, and they're impressive. 30 home runs, 93 RBIs for Morales.
That 9th inning told a lot yesterday. It looked like the Blue Jay batters were starting to get their timing down just a little bit. Bautista with a solid hit off of Britton. Morales had 2 fantastic at-bats, his last 2. One was a strikeout, one was a base hit. But it looks like he's starting to get his timing better in that box.
Generally, the pitchers will have the upper hand over the hitters early in the season. Hitters need some game action to get their timing down.
Unless you play in the WBC, right? How many guys have played in the WBC and they look like they're in mid-season form right now?
Adam Jones with a 2-run home run last night. 2-0 pitch. He reached for it and fouls it back. All those pitches off the plate outside, and Snell, just 24 years old. He was a first-round pick by the Rays in 2011, 52nd pick overall. Minor League Player of the Year in 2015 when he went 15-4 in the minors.
Yeah, not Minor League Pitcher of the Year, Minor League Player of the Year just 2 seasons ago.
Better swing from Morales as he fouls it back. Snell made 2 starts against the Blue Jays last year, and his first start didn't go very well. August 10th at Rogers Center, he gave up a 3-run home run to Troy Tulowitzki in the first inning. And he was knocked out in the second. He trailed 5-0 and couldn't get out of the second.
Yeah, I think I mentioned 5 walks. It was 4 walks in an inning and 2/3 against the Jays. But then he came back in his next start against Toronto, and he was a totally different pitcher.
Pitched very well in that second start. Totally right-handed hitting lineup. And he held them to just a pair of 3rd-inning singles and retired the last 10 he faced in that game. 3-2, 2 outs. There goes Bautista. The ball is hit high and deep in the air. Kiermaier's got a beat on it. He's got room in right center. And makes the catch in front of the 370-foot mark. Blake Snell walks Bautista but strands him. is the manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. He was born and raised here in Florida. In fact, he was a Blue Jay minor leaguer and got it to the big leagues with the Jays. Kevin Cash, a terrific young managing prospect, made his debut with the Jays in 2002. Here's the lineup for the Rays, and they're swinging the bats pretty well early on. Kevin Kiermaier. Last year, he put up big numbers against the Blue Jays, 24 hits and 71 at-bats for a .338 average. And then right behind him, Evan Longoria has been a tough customer for Marcus Stroman. The Blue Jays started tonight. .364 average with 4 extra base hits and 4 RBIs. Miller, Souza, Morrison round out the middle of the order. Marcus Stroman making his first start of the season.
What a great spring it's been for Marcus Stroman. He pitched Team USA to the title in the World Baseball Classic. He was dominant in that championship game, wasn't he, versus Puerto Rico? Well, he hopes to carry that into the regular season. He's been up and down against the Tampa Bay Rays. For his career, he's 3-4 versus the Tampa Bay Rays, with all 3 wins coming right here at Tropicana Field in 4 starts. 9-10 last year with a .437 earned run average. He gets his starts, 32 of them last year, and he keeps his team in the ball game.
A tremendous athlete. He works hard on his conditioning. He works hard on preparing for a game. His side sessions, his video work. Russell Martin says he's one of the best preparing for a start. Corey Dickerson hit a leadoff home run in his first at bat of the season against the Yankees. He's the leadoff man. A couple of non-traditional leadoff hitters in the lineups tonight.
Power. That's what both of these teams have. They've got a lot of power. And Tampa Bay Rays have a lot of power. This guy hit 24 of them last year.
Fouls that pitch back.
He then went out this past offseason and lost 25 pounds. And Chad Mottola was telling me today that he was afraid if he was going to lose his power, but said what he did, he went out to strengthen his core. He had some injuries last year in his core area. Strengthen the core, and then he just lost the weight naturally. He said what strengthening the core did, he can handle his body so much better, and he's had a great spring. He looks so good.
The home run he hit traveled 418 feet to dead center. I mean, he crushed it. And you mentioned he had 24 home runs. He also hit 36 doubles last year.
They think he's going to have a big, big year here for Tampa.
Went around on that tough pitch. Stroman has that late movement on that fastball.
He's in a good spot, too. Corey Dickerson's got some great power. We saw him hit one the bottom of the scoreboard here last year. There are his numbers. In just 416 games, he's already hit 64 homers.
Good breaking ball. You saw Martin tap the dirt, reminding Stroman, hey, if you're going to miss, bounce it. Boy, it's good to see Russell back behind the plate tonight. We all had a scare last night when he took a foul tip off his right hand. He said it hit his fingers and it actually caught him on the pad, the heel of his hand, but he's good to go.
Iced everything up yesterday. Said he felt pretty good after the game last night. And if you were with us last night, you were holding your breath after this, right off of the hands. That's Mark Trumbo up there swinging that bat, sending it right off of the fingers and then the hand of Russell Martin, but he shook it off. He was able to finish the ball game, and he's back in there tonight.
Drummond with a strikeout. He punches out Corey Dickerson to start the game. Let's take a look at the way the Blue Jays stack up here tonight. Steve Pearce back in left field, making the start against his former team. Kevin Pillar made a terrific catch last night. Also made a strong throw to gun down a runner at second. Bautista's in right. Donaldson, Tulowitzki, Barney, and Smoke around the infield, and the Gold Glover Russell Martin behind the plate.
And you've got a ground ball pitcher, Marcus Stroman, on the mound. You better be able to field it in the middle of the diamond. That's where Troy Tulowitzki comes into play. Troy's got a .985 fielding percentage. That's first in Major League Baseball among shortstops since his first season back in 2006. Smooth, reliable.
This is Kevin Kiermaier, the center fielder. He's down 0-2 quickly to Marcus Stroman. Kiermaier is now 26 years old. Mentioned he's a two-time Gold Glove winner and won the Platinum Glove in 2015.
And he's got tremendous speed, Buck. I mean, tremendous speed. That's why the infield, you can see him really shorten up on the left side of the infield. He hits anything on the ground, and there's a chance that he's going to beat it out. Even a ground ball to an infielder. Into the outfield, you better throw the ball in front of him, make him stop. He's always thinking about taking that extra base.
1-2 pitch. Stroman changing up the rhythm a bit and misses with that pitch. That's something we're going to see throughout this ball game, and it's not quite as easy as it looks.
He'll rock a couple of times. He'll hesitate at times. And it's just to throw the timing of the hitter off.
You really got to have core strength to maintain your balance standing on your right leg over the rubber. Hit on the ground, foul.
That's one of the best drills that you could teach a young pitcher right there. It's about balance. It's about keeping yourself over the pitching rubber. Make him go out there and stand for 10 seconds on his back leg and see if he can raise that front leg and balance himself. Well, Marcus can do it.
Did he go? Yes, he did. Went after that breaking ball. A couple of strikeouts for Stroman to start the ball game.
Well, that's the pitch that really came to prominence for Marcus in the second half of last year. We talked about it in the opening, the second half that he had. He started spinning the ball a little bit more. There's his curveball. He's got a lot more depth. Now, he doesn't want that to go side to side. He wants it to go down like we just saw there on Kiermaier. And if he's got that downward trajectory, he's going to get a lot of strikeouts.
Number 3 hitter is Evan Longoria in his 10th season with the Rays, and we mentioned Longoria has hit Stroman well. A .364 average. Breaking ball. Boy, look at the location of those first 2 pitches. Borderline strikes right down at the bottom of the zone, down and away.
You stay right there, you're not going to get hurt at all. Going to make that hitter reach for the ball.
Hitters aren't picking Stroman's pitches up at all. Longoria was fooled on that breaking ball. Stroman ahead 1-2. Longoria, he is the face of this franchise. 3rd pick overall in 2006. Elevates the fastball. How about that start for Marcus Stroman? 3 up, 3 down. He strikes out the side. When we come back, Troy Tulowitzki will lead things off. He homered off Blake Snell last year. Then Russell Martin and Justin Smoke coming off a 2-hit game.
To open the season this month. First up, the Brewers visit Rogers Center April 11th to the 12th. Then a string of AL East opponents, the Baltimore Orioles April 13th to the 16th, followed by the Boston Red Sox, and then the Tampa Bay Rays from April 28th to the 30th. For tickets, visit BlueJays.com. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Of course, the Blue Jays led the American League in attendance last year. They averaged over 41,000. They had the biggest increase from 15 to 16, so make sure you don't get shut out. Troy Tulowitzki, we mentioned he homered against Blake Snell back in August last year. First time he had faced Snell, he had a 3-run home run in the first inning. That's impressive given the fact that Snell only allowed 5 homers.
Like I said, at times he was brilliant last year for the Tampa Bay Rays, and other times he couldn't get out to the second or third or the fourth inning. He was better here at home than he was on the road. In fact, he allowed 2 or fewer runs in 14 of his 19 starts last year. And they're expecting big things from him. They think he has a chance to be pretty good.
Tulowitzki hits it in the air. Souza is there and makes the catch. We had a good visit with the pitching coach of the Rays here this afternoon before batting practice, and he said something that really caught my attention. He said Blake Snell is better equipped with his arsenal of pitches right now than David Price was at the same stage.
Think about that, what he said. And I had to ask him, I said, what are you saying exactly? And he said, well, Price had the great fastball and a little bit of a slider. Didn't have the changeup. He had to work on it when he first came to the big leagues. He said Blake Snell, though, has got an above-average fastball, an exceptional changeup, or exceptional curveball, a very good changeup, and a decent slider. He's got 4 weapons to get you out. All he needs is time. And he needs the experience to go out there and pitch against big league hitters. That's why they think he's going to be pretty good.
Yeah, and Hickey, he's had a lot of good pitchers here in his tenure with the Rays. He also had a pretty good pitcher when he was down in Houston named Roger Clemens. He talked about Clemens and his delivery, how he could control his body so well. Martin swings and misses at a changeup. He strikes out. 2 strikeouts for Snell.
Well, when you're a starter, you got to have 3, and if you have 4 pitches, you can be really good. And here's the breakdown for Blake Snell and his fastball usage: 57%, changeup 18% of the time, curveball and the slider, and uses them all. That's a pretty good pie chart right there of how to pitch and what to use in the big leagues. The curveball's the one that's the impressive one. Batters only hit 0.43 against his curveball last year. 2 for 46 against that hard bender.
Justin Smoke gets the start. Smokey's a switch hitter, of course, batting right-handed against Blake Snell. Smoke had a pair of singles to left field in his 3 plate appearances last night. That's a good sign, batting left-handed. His first hit came off of Dylan Bundy. Then Bundy struck him out in the 5th, and then he led off the 7th with a leadoff double off Brad Brock.
This is his natural side right here. He's a switch hitter. He's a little more refined, I think, from the right side. His natural side. I think he's a better breaking ball hitter from the right side than he is from the left side. He's got that little hitch where his hands go back and they stay right there when he recognizes a breaking ball from the right side.
Snell ahead. A ball and 2 strikes. There's that curveball it missed.
See how he took that ball, though? See how he was in a good hitter's spot where his hands were back and his weight was back. The weight was back on that curveball. If he elevates that thing, he's going to be ready for it.
That's that slider that broke off the plate inside. Kevin Pillar hitting in the 8th spot. Waits on deck. fastball caught looking. Couple of strikeouts in the inning. Snell retires the side in order as we head to the bottom of the second.
We saw Marcus Stroman on the mound in a game that counted, as Pat mentioned earlier, was when he took a no-hitter into the 7th inning at the WBC on his way to claiming MVP honors. Now, pitching coach Pete Walker tells me that that experience has prepared Stroman more than other guys for the upcoming season. He said Stroman is in a very good place right now. He said his stuff is crisp, his sinker is bottoming out at the bottom of the zone. He's disrupting hitters' timing with his hesitation move, as Buck had mentioned earlier. Walker saw a more mature Stroman at the WBC. He didn't get rattled, he was composed, had tremendous mound presence, and this is what Walker expects to see more of this upcoming season. Buck.
Hazel, I think that's a great point, and I agree with everything you said, because you get young players in that atmosphere around the more veteran players. You play for Jim Leyland, who's been a terrific manager forever, and it makes you really understand how to go about your business.
Remember the WBC that Vernon Wells had? He parlayed that into a great season that year. I mean, a great season. And then in turn, that turned into a pretty good contract.
We have seen players over the years catapult themselves from the WBC into the following season, get off to great starts. Brad Miller at the plate. He fouls it off. Stroman is pounding that strike zone early. Miller behind 0-2.
Well, he's got a great sinker, number one. Marcus can use that sinker. At times last year, I thought he fell in love with it a little bit too much and went away from his best pitch, which is a breaking ball. And Marcus can really spin a curveball. Once he started sinking the ball to lefties, going inside against lefties, using breaking balls, he had a lot of success, and he just made Brad Miller look silly. That's 4 strikeouts, the first 4 batters of this ball game. Let's take a look at the scouting report and the usage that Marcus Stroman will use. He's got everything in the toolbox to get outs with. Fastball, slider, cutter, curveball, and changeup. And again, last year he was throwing slider, curveball, and cutter. The 3 of them, they said, you know what, that hybrid, that's all becoming, they're starting to look the same. Let's take away the slider. Let's start to use the cutter and the curveball just a little bit more. He got that spin back, and I'll tell you what else he got back. He got his mojo on that mound. It's looking pretty good. Batters only hit 139 against that breaking ball from July 1st on last year.
Steven Souza Jr., the right fielder, bats with 1 out. He falls behind 0-1. Stroman pitching ahead. There's that hesitation on the mound, and Souza shoots it past Barney into right. First base runner for Tampa Bay is a 1-out single off the bat of Steven Souza Jr.
Everything has been down. Sinker's down. You can see Russell Martin set up on the outside part of the plate. And that looked like a sinker that he was going to try and backdoor, but it came over the middle of the plate. Souza's off to a good start this year.
Speaking of guys getting off to a good start, how about this guy, Logan Morrison? 5 for 9 in the Yankees series. The significance of that is he didn't get his 5th hit last season until April 26th.
Yeah, a little bit different start than last year. I mean, it was a rough first month or so for Logan Morrison. He just came over here last year from Seattle, and you want to get off to a good start with your new team. Wasn't going to happen for him last year.
He gets tied up on that inside pitch. Broke his bat. He's going to need a new piece of lumber. Morrison, a year ago with 14 homers, 44 RBIs. You'll remember he came into Rogers Center last season. He had 89 at-bats with no RBIs. And then it looked like he was going to get his first RBI, but Ezekiel Carrera gunned down a runner at the plate. He threw out Brandon Guyer at home, and it robbed him of his first RBI. He would respond the next day. He got a couple, so he got in that RBI column. But it was a long drought.
From then on, he had a pretty good year. Started hitting the ball the other way.
And Martin flexing that right hand. He might have got that ball on the bare hand again as he was blocking that ball in the dirt.
I think he did. Another hard breaking ball in the dirt, and he slid to his right, and the thing came up, and I think it got him right where he got hit last night. Watch that right hand. Yeah, it ricocheted right off his palm.
Missed with that fastball, trying to go down and away. It's now a 2-2 count to Logan Morrison. Marcus Stroman, 4 strikeouts so far. His career high in strikeouts, 13. It happened last August, first down in Houston. Terrific outing. 7 innings, 3 hits, a single run, and 13 strikeouts. Just 1 walk. Ground ball, this should be 2. Tulowitzki steps on the bag, fires to first. It is a double play. So the Rays get a base hit, but it's erased on a ground ball. That's what you get with Marcus Stroman on the mound. Tulowitzki takes it in short and ends the inning with a strong throw to first. Manny Machado steps to the plate, makes a bid for a home run himself.
The night before, there was a ball similar to this, hit right over his head, and Kevin Pillar went back and went right off of his glove, and he missed it. I think it surprised him. It certainly surprised us. This one here, I think he was determined to catch it, and he gave up his body, went crashing into the wall. You can see it jarred him just a little bit, ran that shoulder into the wall, banged his head on the warning track, shook him up for just a little bit. I'll tell you what, there's not a more determined player on the Blue Jays.
Well, and he ended the inning with that catch in the third. He ended the fourth inning by throwing out Wellington Castillo, trying to advance to second on a base hit.
Yeah, he and Kevin Kiermaier are very similar. Not because they play center field, not because they're great defenders. Wouldn't you know it?
It's it right to him.
But they were both low draft picks that had to prove themselves into the big leagues, and they've been doing that ever since they've gotten up here. Defensive run saves for center fielders last year. Kevin Kiermaier, #1 at 25. Kevin Pillar right behind him at 21. 25 defensive run saves. Kevin Kiermaier has 67 defensive run saves. 24 more than the other player in baseball over the last couple of seasons. But they're very similar because they were low draft picks and they had to prove that they could play in the big leagues.
Absolutely. You have to work at your craft. Darwin Barney getting his first start of the season. He's had one at bat. He's 0 for 1. He struck out against Zach Britton. Breaking ball. It's going to get down for a base hit, and Barney has his first hit of the season.
You know what a manager wants to do, especially the first week of the season, is get everybody into a game with at least a start. Guys on the bench. Darwin Barney gets the start tonight, not because Devin Travis is hurt. He wants to get Barney some playing time against the left-hander. Darwin rewards him with his first at-bat, a curveball that he slaps into left field. You know, you want to get your catcher in there. I'm sure we're going to see Saltalamacchia here very soon. Ryan Goins, they'll get him into the ball game.
Steve Pearce struck out against Snell back in the first. John Gibbons is thinking about using Saltalamacchia as a DH and playing Kendrys Morales at first base in this series. And then he will probably catch Salty maybe on Sunday, so he'll get a couple of starts in this series if everything goes according to plans. So far, I have seen a dramatically improved command from Blake Snell. He's throwing the ball where he wants to.
Yeah, with all of his pitches right now. How about the right side of the infield? Holding the runner on over there at first base. Steve Pearce is upset with himself because he took 2 shots over there to just roll the ball to right field. You can see after that last one he fouled back, he was kind of shaking his head saying, they're giving it to me, I got to take it.
This is popped up and playable in foul ground, and nobody's going to get to it. Morrison and Souza couldn't get there in time. So Pearce will have life.
Can you see how he's slowing things down and keeping his front side closed as long as possible and just get anything on the ground on the right side of that infield, with Morrison having to hold the runner on at first base and Tampa Bay playing 3 infielders on the left side of the infield. He's got the whole right side to work with. That could really set up a big inning for the Blue Jays.
It's really interesting how they continue to play him so dramatically to pull. With 2 strikes, you figure a hitter's going to cut down his swing, have a little bit better bat control, and they're just inviting him to hit a grounder to the right side.
Yeah, it looks like he's trying. If he does, I don't know if Darwin Barney can go first to third, not because of his speed or anything, but Steven Souza, the right fielder, is shallow.
Very shallow. Souza's got a strong arm. He had 8 assists a year ago.
Look how shallow he is in right field.
Pierce continues to take a shot at that big hole. It's so inviting over there. The problem I have with such a dramatic shift in this particular situation is you've got a 24-year-old on the mound who's had a reputation of throwing it all over the place. So you don't really know if he's going to be able to make his pitches and pitch to the defense the way they've set it up.
Well, he's liable to try and go inside and leave something outside, and that's when Pierce can punch it the other way.
If you were a more veteran pitcher with this type of defense, you'd try to get Pierce out inside, figuring that you can jam him, you can throw the breaking ball down and in, but continues to pitch Pierce away. And when you throw that many pitches away, you get a real good idea of what's a ball and what's a strike.
Well, he has seen them all. Everything that he has to offer in this at bat. See if the Blue Jays start that runner over at first base now.
Barney with a 1-out single takes his lead at first. And they'll chase him back. No score. We're in the third. Each team with just one hit. That's not unusual when these two teams meet up. The Rays held the Blue Jays to a .206 average last year.
That's the best and lowest opponent's average versus a divisional opponent last year. .206. Blue Jays have some pretty good hitters.
Another 3-2 pitch. Pierce chases that breaking ball. He was looking for something out over the plate, and give the young pitcher credit. He dropped that hook on him.
3-2 breaking ball from a guy who can walk his share of batters. I don't think Steve Pierce was expecting him to come with that 3-2 breaking ball. It took him by surprise. I think that's why he is so upset. He set himself up for a fastball. He gets that good overhand curveball. There it is once again. Again, .043 batting average against that curveball last year.
2 outs for Josh Donaldson. Josh popped out to the right fielder back in the first inning. Josh came into this ballgame 4 for 9 with a walk. Blue Jays have scored just 3 runs in their first 2 games. Nothing to panic about.
Yeah, I was just thinking the same thing, partner. I was like, no need to panic. Everybody knows this team can score. Last year, the Jays ranked 9th in Major League Baseball in runs per game, almost 5 runs a game. John Gibbons knows his team's going to score some runs. Heck, they ran into a couple of hot pitchers, starting pitchers in Baltimore those first 2 games.
Inside. 3 balls and a strike to Donaldson. Bautista waiting on deck. 2 outs. Both pitchers have racked up the strikeouts early. Both Snell and Stroman have 4 strikeouts. Donaldson takes another walk.
The cars change, the fandom doesn't. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Good shot of St. Petersburg and Tropicana Field. Blue Jays, of course, train at Dunedin. Probably about 25 miles north of here, maybe not even that far. 2 outs for Bautista. Jose walked in the first inning.
Yeah, and a lot of the guys like coming down here. They can go sleep in their own beds. A lot of them have homes in the area here.
Jose makes his home here, and it's obviously nice to get back. Bautista has hit 10 home runs in this ballpark. And we mentioned how tough the Rays pitching staffs have been over the years. That's a pretty significant number.
Boy, they always come up with great pitchers, good young pitchers. They do a good thing in the minor leagues. They don't bring their players up here until they can control that fastball. If you don't have fastball command, you are not pitching for the Rays.
They really insist that you have the command of your fastball and you also throw a changeup. Jim Hickey has been a big proponent of that, and the thing he likes about Blake Snell is he's got all 4 pitches.
Got 4, and they're all above average, and he feels like he might be the best out of all of them. Right now, all he's doing right now, he's found himself into a tough spot. He's trying to muscle his way through this inning. Overthrowing, trying to be too perfect instead of just laying off the gas just a little bit. Take a deep breath and just make a pitch. He got the hit to Barney, and he had to battle through to Pierce, struck him out, and then really tried to overthrow to Donaldson to get through this inning, walked him, and he's done the same thing to Jose. And look what happens.
Walks. Well, sooner or later, the Blue Jays are going to get a big hit. They've had plenty of opportunities in their first 2 games. Jim Hickey, the veteran pitching coach, is out of the dugout to try to help out his young pitcher.
Young pitchers, they get into those tight spots against big power hitters, the great hitters in the middle of the lineup, and they feel like they have to reach back for a little something extra to try and get the out, where the proper thing to do is to just slow things down. Try easy, if you will, and just execute a pitch. You start trying to reach back for a little something extra, you're going to end up walking guys like he just did.
Jim Hickey is in his 11th season as the pitching coach for the Rays. Rays have had a lot of pitching coaches earlier in their existence, but since 2006, it's all been Jim Hickey.
And there's no coincidence that they've had some great pitchers here. A lot of that credit has to go to Jim Hickey. He's a good one.
Bases are loaded. Henrys Morales flied out to right center in his first at bat. Not wasting any time. He fouls one straight back.
Oh, I love that. He walked the first 2 batters, or the 2 batters in front of him. He get the pitching coach to come out there for a little meeting, and the message was, hey, you got to jump ahead of this guy. Got to throw strike 1. And Morales, a known RBI guy, was waiting for him.
Swing and a drive deep to left. This is gonna go. Grand slam home run. Welcome to the Blue Jays. 4th career grand slam for Henrys Morales, and the Blue Jays finally got that big hit they were looking for.
Yeah, that's the only thing that was missing in Baltimore. The big hit with runners in scoring position. If so, they might have been able to sweep the Orioles. But they didn't. Told you that Morales' last 2 at-bats last night looked good. He ended up striking out, but it was a long at-bat. He ended up singling against Britton. Tonight he hit a deep drive to center field, his first at-bat, and then got a cookie, a fastball in the inner half, and boy, got all of it.
Tulowitzki goes after the first pitch and pops it back behind home plate. Sucre is there, and that'll end the inning. But the damage is done. Henrys Morales, with his 4th career grand slam, has put the Blue Jays up 4-0. A deep no-doubter to the seats in left center. better with each at bat. Matt mentioned he had a single against Britain last night, and this is a monster home run. Everybody in the ballpark knew that one was gone.
That was a loud one right there, no doubt about it. Watch where this bad boy ends up in left field, deep into that canvas area, over the stands in left field. Kendrys Morales with one swing gives the Blue Jays a 4-0 lead.
He had 30 a year ago in a spacious ballpark for the Royals Kauffman Stadium, and that was a shot that's going to go out of any ballpark. So Stroman now staked to a 4-0 lead early, and he has been stingy. He's allowed just one single. He has faced the minimum thanks to an inning-ending double play off the bat of Logan Morrison. Bottom third of the Rays lineup: Tim Beckham, Mallex Smith, and Jesus Sucre. Tim Beckham playing at shortstop. They'd hoped Matt Duffy would be healthy enough to play, but he's had his Achilles problems, and he is on the DL.
They've been waiting for Tim Beckham to develop for a couple of years now. He had a good spring, and he won the shortstop job.
Beckham was the first overall pick in the 2008 draft. He's had some spurts where things have really gone well for him. In 2015, he had 2 pinch hit home runs in his first 10 games. The second one was off Aaron Loop. What a pitch. He drives that fastball to the outside corner. His 5th strikeout of the game and his 300th career strikeout. And this is a list of the Blue Jays pitchers. Fewest games to 300 strikeouts, and Marcus Stroman. 63 games to pick up his 300th career strikeout.
Strikeouts are starting to come a lot now for Marcus. He'd like to get some quicker innings, and I think he can do that if he wants to with that sinker. Have quicker innings.
There's a bunt right out in front of home. Martin goes to first, and Smith is retired. Just hit it too close to Russell Martin. Mallex Smith was out here about 3 o'clock this afternoon bunting against a pitching machine.
Well, that's what he does. That's the strength of his game, and he'll do that once, maybe twice a game, just to keep you honest. When this ball was in the dirt area, I was thinking about Russell Martin and that hand that's gotten hit the last 2 nights, the foul tip, and then the ball that he blocked tonight. Didn't look like he had any problems with that throw to first base.
This is the catcher, Jesus Sucre, batting with 2 outs. Stroman jumps ahead with a strike. Sucre, 28 years old. He's from Venezuela. He was acquired February this year from the Seattle Mariners. There's that hesitation, and then he delivers a strike. That is really disruptive for a hitter's timing.
It might not look like much, but we ask hitters from the other teams what that does to them, and it messes up their timing.
Nothing wrong with that pitch. Martin was set up off the plate outside, but he caught it over the plate. Didn't get to call. Donaldson gets a big hop. Long throw across the diamond. Marcus Stroman has faced the minimum through 3 innings. He's allowed just 1 single.
your chance to watch every out-of-market regular season game live on over 400 supported devices. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. For details, visit MLB.tv. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. We are here in St. Petersburg, Florida. Boston's game has been postponed. They're playing Pittsburgh here at Fenway. They have been postponed already. The weather has been pretty nasty in the Northeast. A lot of final games as they played a lot of day games today. Cubs beat the Cardinals in St. Louis. The White Sox beat the Tigers 11-2 in Chicago. Dodgers, boy, they are swinging the bats early. They beat the Padres 10-2 again this afternoon.
Now, I don't know if that means anything.
The Padres?
Yeah, the Padres. You know, obviously in a rebuilding mode. They outscored them 27-10 in that series, that 4-game series.
Yasiel Puig's off to a great start for LA. Drove in 4 today, went 2 for 3, and he's hitting .417.
Hit a couple of home runs, didn't he?
Yep. His second and third home runs of the season. So Martin drives this one to right. It's going to hang up there for Souza. Martin's retired. Blake Snell, we mentioned he only surrendered 5 home runs last season in 19 starts, but Kendrys Morales took him deep for the grand slam in the 3rd.
Well, that whole inning was his fault. He ended up walking Donaldson. He ended up walking Bautista. Threw a fastball right down the middle. You know, you're dealing with 2, 3, and 4. You got to be perfect.
Smoke hits it on the ground to Beckham, and 2 quick outs here in the 4th.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations, proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Center fielder Kevin Pillar, he lined out to the center fielder Kevin Kiermaier, his first time up. In the air to center. Kiermaier moving to his left, gets there. Quick inning for Blake Snell. Just 6 pitches and he retires the side in order in the 4th. But the Blue Jays have a 4-0 lead for Marcus Stroman.
limitless. It's an inspiring look at Aaron Sanchez and his parents Lynn and Mike Shipley as the Blue Jays' young starter makes the climb from disadvantaged beginnings in Barstow, California to Major League stardom. Catch it April 9th right here on Sportsnet.
Aaron Sanchez talking with Scott Weberg, the Major League Assistant Strength and Conditioning Coordinator. And Aaron Sanchez's father, Mike Shipley, is here in the ballpark tonight. I had a chance to catch up with him. He and his wife, Lynn, always making an effort whenever they can, make the trip from Barstow, California, back to meet the Blue Jays, whether it's on the road or at home at Rogers Center. And Aaron will make his season debut on Saturday. Marcus Stroman set to start the fourth. He'll face the leadoff man, Corey Dickerson, who struck out against Stroman in the first.
Well, he's dotting that outside corner tonight, getting the calls. Dickerson, 24 home runs last year, 70 RBIs. You would think he hit down in the lineup last year with those 24 home runs that he'd be able to drive in more runs than just 70. There were just 9 players who did that, hit at least 24 home runs and didn't drive in more than 70 last year. Blue Jays have one of those. Michael Saunders did that. Michael had 24 home runs and just 57 RBIs.
0-2. Russell Martin says he wants it up. Stroman pauses just a little bit too high. You mentioned that Dickerson hit a long home run last year. He hit his first home run off of Mark Stroman last year here at Tropicana Field. It was kind of a meaningless home run. It was 5-1 Blue Jays at the time, and he hit it in the ninth.
Well, if you're going to give them up, that's the ones you want to give up. No doubt about it. Type. Marcus was trying to finish off that ball game, and he was bumping pitches in there saying, hey, make some outs.
It was an 0-2 pitch he hit out of the ballpark. He fouls that 2-2 pitch off.
But you're going to get your share of home runs from Corey Dickerson. You're going to also get your share of strikeouts. He's taken to this leadoff spot. He's always had a good on-base percentage, and that's why Kevin Cash has him in the leadoff spot, and he likes it.
That'll flare into left. Here comes Pierce. Looked like he was battling the lights a bit, but he was able to stay with it and make the play. Pierce making his second start in left field this season. Watch how he tries to find it in the lights, and I don't know if that ball was knuckling or it was the lights. It looked like the lights indeed.
Did you see him stutter step right there at the end? That tells you that he's having trouble in the lights. And luckily, you just pray that that thing comes out of those lights, and it did.
Nothing like strike one. Stroman staying ahead of these hitters, and now he's got a 4-run cushion to work with. Ball and a strike to Kevin Kiermaier. Kiermaier, one of 5 strikeouts registered by Stroman so far in this game. I think Marcus really took a step in the right direction in his second to last start in the World Baseball Classic. Puerto Rico reached him for 6 straight hits to start the game, but he never wavered. He continued to pitch, and he made better pitches, and he pitched 5 strong innings. And that really set him up for that performance he put together in the tournament finale.
You know, I contend if that happened 2 years ago, that really would have rattled him. Would not have been able to overcome that, but he came back and he was outstanding. You can see how upset he is with himself after that walk. And talking about the WBC, the line that he has, 6th inning, didn't give up a hit until that last inning. No earned runs, a walk, and 3 punch-outs, but everything was down and everything was on the corner, a lot like what we're seeing tonight from him.
And that's the same team that reached him for 6 straight hits to start the previous game. 1-out walk to Kiermaier, and Longoria takes a first pitch strike. Stroman took too long for Longoria, and the third baseman asked for time.
He's put up some big numbers, not just against Marcus Stroman, against everybody on the Blue Jays. His power is to left field. That's where he hits the majority of his home runs, Longoria. But if you make a mistake out over the plate, he can slice the ball into the gap in right center field, pull one into the gap into left center field. Stands off the plate with an open stance, and when you look in at him, you think you can get him on the outside corner, but he really strides into that ball.
Stroman made a good pitch on him and kept it away from Longoria. It's now 1-2.
First time up, he struck out Evan with a high fastball. You get that hitter looking down and away like that, you can stand him up with a high 4-seam fastball.
Missed off the plate. Longoria made his 9th opening day start for Tampa Bay. This is his 10th season. Took another shot at that outside.
He was upset after walking Kiermaier, just missing some of his pitches. Now he's just missed a couple more. What you don't want to do against the Rays is give them free passes. I'll tell you why. You start issuing walks like that, they've got enough home run hitters in their lineup that can get you back into a ball game.
Back-to-back walks with 1 out, and here comes one of those home run hitters. Brad Miller hit 30 home runs last season. The Rays really turned things around as far as the home runs last year. They homered in 118 games a year ago. The Blue Jays, and people think they're a much more powerful team, they homered in 119 games. And now they've got 2 aboard in a 4-0 ball game.
They only averaged 4 runs last year, 24th in Major League Baseball with all those home runs. 6th most home runs in Major League Baseball, 4th most extra base hits in Major League Baseball. So you don't want to be giving them free passes in front of those RBI guys.
Ball 1 to Brad Miller. You see the home run total for the Rays, 216, just 5 behind the Blue Jays. The Orioles led the pack with 253. Previous high for Tampa Bay was 2009 when they hit 199 home runs. Ground ball, this should be 2. Barney to Tulowitzki to smoke. It is a double play. Second double play of the ball game, and races a couple of walks, and the Blue Jays hold on to their 4-0 lead. Now time for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
and then at Rogers Center. Spend your summer nights with the Blue Jays with the 6-game Summer Nights Pack. Visit bluejays.com/gamepacks. Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. Blue Jays will be home on Tuesday to play the Milwaukee Brewers in the opener at home. Can't wait for the roof to be open. Summertime full swing and the Blue Jays fans out in full force. Promises to be another exciting season at Rogers Center.
Oh, those Saturday afternoons, huh? Sunday afternoons.
Junior Jays is Saturday. There's nothing quite like it. Here is Darwin Barney, and give him credit for starting that rally. Barney hit a curveball in the left field with a nice swing, a one-out base hit, and that set up the grand slam. So far, I mean, it's only been 3 games. But the bottom of the order's done a nice job getting on base.
Yeah, they've given the middle of the lineup, the top of the lineup and the middle of the lineup, a lot of opportunities to drive in some runs. And Kendrys Morales with just one swing got him 4. No more curveballs for Darwin Barney after that base hit. Here come all the fastballs to him. Hey, he's a pro. You can put him anywhere in the field and he's going to give you a good effort. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to help you win a ball game, and already tonight he's got himself a base hit and a run scored.
There's a breaking ball and he fouls it off. You know, when the lineup first came out, everybody said, what's wrong with Devin Travis? But John Gibbons explained his move by saying, I need to get the extra guys starts early in the season. This is just the 3rd game, so Darwin Barney, he gets his start. And Devin, he's been good, both in the field and at the plate.
And they also want to protect him a little bit. He's coming back from a knee injury and get him off the turf. I imagine we will see Ryan Goins at some point in this series get a start. First time the Blue Jays are going to have a day game after a night game this weekend. We'll probably see Go make a start somewhere.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Way upstairs. Reached back for a little extra and lost his command. Pierce, the leadoff man, will bat next. He struck out twice against Snell.
Begging for him to get on base so he can take another shot to right field like he did his last time up.
Barney fights it off and hits it foul down the right side. Darwin Barney, boy, he's been a nice addition. You remember a couple of years ago they picked him up in September for that stretch drive 2015. He was ineligible for the postseason because he wasn't acquired prior to September 1st. But it was a very prudent move. A veteran infielder. Works him for the walk. 4 walks now issued by Snell.
Cheering for the Jays since day one. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Sun is set here in Florida. It was a gorgeous day today. My goodness, it was cool, no humidity, slight breeze, and a lot of Blue Jays and their families were out walking around.
Didn't make it to the pool today. Were they hanging out at the pool? I know you said you wanted to go there.
No, I didn't make it to the pool today either. It's 4 o'clock arrival time.
Exactly.
Makes you sleep in a little bit.
Blake Snell is trying again to reach back for a little something extra to get through this inning, and he's missing his spots. Maybe if he throws a changeup here to just slow things down a little bit. There it is.
Right back to Snell. Second for 1, back to first in time. He threw that off-speed pitch and got the desired results.
Again, when you're overthrowing and you're coming out of your mechanics as a pitcher, it's better just to back off just a little bit. And Blake Snell did that. Threw a changeup, and he's rewarded with a double play.
Josh Donaldson scored on the grand slam by Kendrys Morales. Donaldson walked with 2 outs. Donaldson and Bautista both worked Snell for the walks and set the table for Morales. Took something off that pitch and made a good pitch with a changeup.
Throw it again. If you're Jesus Sucre, the catcher back there, make him throw it again.
Ran off the plate inside. Two balls and a strike to Josh Donaldson. Oh, that's a tough strike. Might have been low, and you can see the Blue Jays bench has given it to the home plate umpire. Stu Sherwater, the home plate umpire. The bench was barking right away.
That's when you point to somebody else. He did it. He said it, not me.
The appeal down to first, and Donaldson is called out. Mike Winters brings him up for the strikeout. Snell with another strikeout. 6 strikeouts for Snell. He went around. Off to a fast start. They're 3-0. Cleveland's 3-0 at the start of play. Washington Nationals have gone 2-0. So Houston trying to stay perfect on the season.
On the flip side of that, Seattle 0-3 and Texas 0-3. Marcus Stroman, though, dealing 56 pitches in his 4 innings. He's only given up that 1 hit. That was to Souza, which was wiped off the board. The next batter who grounded into a double play.
Here is Steven Souza Jr. Upstairs for ball 1. Two and 0. Line drive hit to left. Pierce is not going to get it. Can't cut it off, and Souza's headed for second. He makes the turn and puts on the brakes. Steven Souza Jr. 2 for 2 tonight.
Well, he gets himself into good hitters counts. First time up, he was 1-0 and he got a base hit. This time 2-0, so he's looking for anything over the middle of the plate that you can square up. As soon as it left the bat, I was hoping that Pierce was going to be able to get over there and cut that ball off, hold him to a single because of Stroman's ability to get the ground balls, but Souza looks up, sees the ball by him. He had thoughts of possibly going to third base. Slams on the brakes.
Souza's now 4 for 11 against Marcus Stroman. First double of the season for the right fielder. Logan Morrison bounced into a double play to end the second inning. Morrison came up with the Florida Marlins, team he was drafted by. He was a 22nd round pick by the Marlins in 2005. Takes a low strike, gets a ball on a strike.
Learned his craft as a young kid working with Kevin Seitzer, former Blue Jay hitting coach. When he was a young man, little leaguer, Kevin Seitzer and Mike McFarland have a hitting school, and they have teams for youth baseball in the Kansas City area. Logan Morrison played on one of those teams.
He would stay in the Kansas City area and go to junior college. He went to Maple Woods Community College in Kansas City, and if that sounds familiar, there's a fellow that played at Maple Woods Community College before Morrison by the name of Albert Pujols. He turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, he was okay. A 13th round draft pick.
2-1.
Blue Jays play him, excuse me, Buck, the other way.
Barney gets a big hop. Souza is headed for third. And Souza and Donaldson are kind of having a chat. That was kind of interesting. Donaldson put the deke on Souza, and there was no play whatsoever, and Souza went into a slide.
Base runners don't like that.
Yeah, it was really kind of odd.
There's not going to be a play over there. That's where you get injured. You just assume that you're going to be able to advance. Then you get that deke like a throw's coming in there and you slide late. You could twist your ankle on that base.
One out. The infield will stay back with Tim Beckham at the plate. Ooh, what a play by Martin. And he tried to get Souza to break for home. He backhanded it and then took a couple of steps toward the backstop. But Souza says, man, everybody's trying to fool me here. What's going on?
Watch Russell. First of all, the pick, and then quickly thinks, hey, maybe if I act like it's going back to the backstop, Souza's going to break for home.
It's breaking out all the trick plays on Souza.
Quick thinking.
Beckham gets jammed, and Stroh's going to go home, and they get Souza, who hurt his knee as he slid into Russell Martin.
Boy, that's why the catcher wears those shin guards. Souza went hard right into the shin guards of Russell Martin.
Boy, he hit hard as Stroman came home. Made an easy play. Martin caught it, and then Souza crashed into his shin guards. And now, see, Kevin Cash is looking in his dugout as if they're going to check and see if Martin blocked the plate. Well, Souza breaks for home. Martin was in front of it, but the ball took him into the base path. Martin's in front of home plate, and then the ball is into the base path, so he has to catch the ball, and Martin's right knee hit Souza's left.
If the throw takes you into the runner, There's the collision of the knees right in front of home plate. If the throw takes the catcher into the runner, there's no such thing as blocking the plate. And they're going to take a look at this one, but you can see from the different angles that we have seen that Russell Martin set up in front of home plate. The throw took him into the runner, and he recorded the out, but they're going to take a look at it anyway.
Yeah, Martin, in my mind, didn't do anything wrong. He stepped out in front of home plate to give Souza a look at the plate as he was running toward home. And then the throw from Stroman was high and took Martin into the base path.
So there is nothing wrong with that. The second thing that Kevin Cash could be asking, because it was a high throw, did Souza get his legs on the plate before Martin applied the tag? There's the high throw. Russell actually leaves his feet to go up and get it, but he never got to the plate until Russell tagged him.
Well, Kevin Cash, the manager, has asked the umpires to take a look at it. This play is under review. The call on the field is that Souza is out. They could be checking whether or not he beat the tag.
Checking everything. But from where you and I sit, I think we're in agreement. Russell didn't do anything wrong, and the tag was applied before he got to home plate. Russell Martin felt that one too. Did you see him after that get up and limp just a little bit?
Yeah, they both hit flush.
Yeah.
Souza's left knee to Martin's right knee. They uphold the call, as you see, and Mike Winters is the crew chief. Came in to take part of the review. Stu Sherwalter made the catch. Sherwater, the home plate umpire.
I was a little surprised that they sent the runner on that ball tapped back to the mound, being down by 4 runs.
I agree with you 100%, and you can't really fault Stroman for making the play to home. He's not going to concede any runs in the AL East. Everybody's explosive, so whenever you can cut down a runner at the plate, you will. So now there are 2 outs. Beckham's at first on the fielder's choice. Mallex Smith was out on a bunt attempt back in the 3rd.
Oh, he's got outstanding speed. Outstanding speed. So everybody on the infield is going to shorten up just a little bit in case he chops a ball to the infield. It's one of those players that can just outrun the baseball.
Bottom of the 5th, it's a 4-0 Blue Jays lead, and Smith swings and misses on that breaking ball. In case you're just joining us, the Blue Jays got a big hit with the bases loaded, a grand slam off the bat of Kendrys Morales. That came in the 3rd inning. Marcus Stroman has been dealing. Stroman has been on his game.
Throw that same pitch that he just threw.
He did. It gets away, but not far enough for Beckham to take a chance. Stroman has 5 strikeouts. The Blue Jays have turned 2 double plays in support of Stroman. And that's the combination you get with Marcus Stroman. He has the strikeout ability, and he throws a lot of ground balls. Donaldson will go across the diamond in time, and that'll end the inning. Leadoff double, and the Rays can't cash in. When we come back, Jose Bautista will lead things off. He's walked twice, and a big blow. Kendrys Morales' grand slam, then Troy Tulowitzki. here in the sixth. He's walked twice tonight, and he's always a threat to go deep against the Tampa Bay Rays. When you look at the home runs against the Rays since 2010, Bautista heads a list that's pretty impressive with Davis, Encarnacion, and Adam Jones.
Well, you're going to get those guys in the American League East because you face them so many times. Jose's broken down that home run trot 30 times against the Rays. Yeah, he always comes up big against good pitchers.
Jose, as we mentioned, has walked twice against Blake Snell. Falls off the plate, called a strike. Snell ran into problems in the third. He had back-to-back two-out walks to Donaldson and Bautista. This has popped up into shallow right center. Souza calls for it, makes the catch. Drive of the game brought to you by Honda, official vehicle of the Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
Blue Jays picked up Kendrys Morales to drive in some big runs for him, and tonight he's going to drive in 4 with one swing. They try to get that fastball inside. It leaks out over the plate. And he's done that a few times in his career. A long, and I mean long, home run to left field for a grand slam. His first home run as a Blue Jay is a grand slam.
His first home run of the season is a grand slam. It's only the third time in franchise history where a player has hit a grand slam for his first home run. George Bell did it in 1990 against the Rangers, and Ed Sprague in 95 hit a grand slam against Oakland. Tough hop for Longoria. Long throw scooped by Morrison. Nice play on both ends. Longoria, two-time Gold Glover, and Logan Morrison dug it out of the dirt.
Boy, that was a tricky hop for Longoria, who sets himself. He comes in and says, you know what, I got to back up on that play. And because he can't set his feet properly, and he knows he's got to be quick, fires across the diamond. It's dug out over there by Morrison. But Longoria, what makes him so good is he's so quick. He's got quick hands, he's got quick feet. They were both on display on that play.
Troy Tulowitzki looking for his first hit of the season. Oh for 11 to start. Sixth inning. The Blue Jays, right on expectations, have gotten 3 good starts from their starting pitchers. Marco Estrada opened it up. Jay Happ, 7 strong innings. Just a couple of home runs did him in.
Yeah, that's the backbone of this team.
Tulowitzki gets jammed, flares it into shallow left, and Beckham makes the catch. 3 up, 3 down for Snell in the 6th. We'll go to the bottom of the 6th. Stroman with a 4-0 lead over Tampa Bay.
night regular season in style. First, Sidney Crosby and the Penguins take on Austin Matthews and the Leafs. Then Connor McDavid leads the Oilers against Bo Horvat and the Canucks at Rogers Arena. It's Hockey Night in Canada from Toronto and Vancouver, Saturday on CBC.
Boy, the Leafs have really turned it on in the second half of the season, and they've got a terrific young club led by Mike Babcock, and we certainly want to wish them well.
Could be a fun month in Toronto, huh?
Raptors, Leafs, and Blue Jays back home. Lots going on. Not much offense going on here in the Trop tonight. Just 4 hits, but the Blue Jays get 4 runs on one swing of the bat. The grand slam by Kendrys Morales.
Marcus has been very efficient also through 5 innings, just 70 pitches.
First pitch swinging as the catcher Jesus Sucre bounces out to third.
That'll help. Well, what you want to do with Marcus Stroman, he can throw ground ball after ground ball after ground ball, and if he's got that sinker going and he's pounding that strike zone, you're going to get a lot of ground balls, and he's got 10 of them tonight. Just 1 ball in the air. That was the fly ball by Dickerson in the 4th inning that was caught by Pierce. 5 strikeouts, 10 ground balls.
Back to the top of the order. This is Corey Dickerson who takes the first pitch strike. Marcus Stroman will turn 26 years old on May 1st. He was drafted by the Blue Jays in the first round of the 2012 draft. And he's been a big game pitcher most of his life. His first season with the Blue Jays in 2014, he went 11-6. And then the following spring in 2015, he had that terrible knee injury, tore his ACL, and was out what they thought to be the entire season. But he beat the odds and came back and pitched in September. Dickerson hits it into left field. They were trying to go upstairs with that fastball and didn't get it up high enough.
Watch Russell Martin, the catcher. It's 0-2. He wants this thing up over the shoulders of Dickerson, and it's just above the belt. Like he got under that ball just a little bit and just stayed up there. Dickerson gladly would take an 0-2 base hit.
1 out single now. Here's Kevin Kiermaier. He's walked and struck out. Goes after the first pitch and bounces it foul. This is the 3rd time through the order for the Rays facing Stroman. And last year that was a bit of a problem. Marcus Stroman gave up a .281 average facing the lineup for the 3rd time.
You know, Russell Martin's asking John Gibbons to take a look at this one to see if that ball touched Kiermaier while he was out of the box. I mean, right away, Russell, watch him. Sinker down. And as he comes out of the box, Russell, it didn't look like it hit him, but Russell asked the Blue Jays to take a look at it.
Yeah, that ball didn't hit him and bounced in a funny fashion where Martin thought it may have hit him, so he asked, and the umpire clarified things for the manager. 0-1 to Kiermaier. Stroman quickly to second. Tulowitzki across the diamond, another double play. That's the 3rd double play of the ball game. Stroman's a terrific athlete. He threw a strike to second, and then it was academic for Tulowitzki.
safe. Honda, official vehicle of the Toronto Blue Jays and proud fan since 1977.
The Rays are swimming in the pool out beyond the fence in right center. Blake Snell, not a bad line. 83 pitches. He allowed just 2 hits.
2 hits, 4 walks. That's what's really done him in, and then the big home run, but not bad. He's just 24 years old.
2 hits came in the 3rd inning. 2 walks in that 3rd inning as well, and they all came around to score.
Like they usually do when you walk the middle of the lineup. But at just 24 years old, he's the youngest member of the Rays season opening starting rotation. His future is bright. There just might be some lumps along the road at times.
It's that pitch in a good spot. It's 1-2 to Russell Martin. No swing according to the first base umpire Mike Winters. It's 2-2 now to Russell Martin, leading off the 7th. Russell 0 for 2 tonight, 0 for 8 on the season, but he's walked 3 times. Austin Smoke will bat next.
He had a big walk in last night's game in that 9th inning. Like they were going to overtake Baltimore. And he's got one tonight.
There's another walk. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership. The Blue Jays looking for their first win of the season. That fan's first ball game, and it's been an interesting game for sure. A couple of young pitchers doing their thing, and one veteran hitter took one swing of the bat and provided the only runs of this game, a grand slam in the 3rd inning by Kendrys Morales.
A little timeout right now as Jim Hickey's back out there. I wonder if he sees the same thing I'm seeing, that young Blake Snell might be getting a little tired. When you get tired, he's up over 85 pitches. Oh, excuse me, he's at 90 pitches. When you get tired, your legs just can't work the way they do in the first few innings, and all of a sudden you can't finish your pitches. You can't push off that mound and land the way you're supposed to. Last 3 pitches up and away to right-handed batters, so that's a signal for a pitching coach that he might be getting tired, and there's some movement down in that bullpen for Kevin Cash.
Managers carry that cheat sheet with them throughout the course of the ball game. They have all the pitching matchups, and Smoke drives this to the opposite field. Martin is around second. He's headed for 3rd. Here's a strong throw. Just barely in there safely. What a throw from right field.
You know, we told you, on top of being an elite defender with his legs and with his glove, Kevin Kiermaier's got a great arm. He had 7 outfield assists last year. I didn't think he even had a shot at getting Russell Martin, because Russell reads it perfectly, and he's going to try to go 1st to 3rd, but watch Kiermaier come up firing. It looked like the ball might have hit Russell on a bounce. Just grazed him, but Longoria was right there to make the tag. Just a little bit late. What a throw.
Impressive throw, and the ball didn't tail much as Martin slides in just ahead of the tag by Longoria. Terrific throw. Yeah. I don't know how Longoria caught it.
Yeah, that ball did hit Russell. Glanced off of his arm or his shoulder, and Longoria tagged him.
Infield drawn in now with nobody out. Kevin Pillar. He's flied out twice to center field, a line out and a fly out. Here's where he's got to get the ball up, get something that he can hit to the outfield.
Get it deep enough.
This is a pop-up into shallow right. Souza coming in, makes the catch, and Martin bluffs and holds. Souza's got a strong arm, and it just wasn't deep enough.
Yeah, he had 8 outfield assists last year, and he set himself up. He's going to overthrow the cutoff man. Russell Martin is going to try and draw this throw. Maybe he throws it over the catcher. Watch Russell tag up. He's not going to go at all, but he's going to take about 5 or 6 hard steps, make him throw that ball. Maybe he airmails it over the catcher, and Smoke, who's at first base, can get into the scoring position.
Darwin Barney now, he's had a good night at the plate. As you see, Tommy Hunter loosening up for the Rays under the veteran. Made this bullpen out of spring training. Barney tries to push bunt it and bunts it foul.
Love that play. That play was made famous by Joe Madden when he was the manager here in Tampa Bay. First and third, left-handed pitcher out on that mound. You're just going to have that safety squeeze to the right side of the infield. It's almost impossible to defend that play. You're going to get a run, and you're going to get another runner in scoring position.
Yeah, and you could do it again. Even though you showed it on the first pitch, you just square around and bunt it right in the direction of second base. Martin at third, Smoke at first, and he squares again and pushes it to the first baseman. And Morrison bobbles it. All hands are safe. If you execute it, oftentimes it'll end up just like that. Morrison came in. Martin broke for home. He bobbled it, and then when he turned to first, nobody's there.
Yeah, tough to defend. First of all, Brad Miller's playing second base for the first time this year. His bag is at second base, but watch him at the top of your screen. For some reason, he goes to second base. Now there's nobody for Logan Morrison to flip over to second base. And the Blue Jays are in business.
Base hit RBI for Darwin Barney. He drives home Russell Martin. The walks have plagued Blake Snell. 3 of his walks have come in to score. And it's now 5-0 Blue Jays.
I love that play. It's so hard to defend it. Even if you do defend it properly, the only place you're going to get an out is over at first base.
Yeah, and that was a play. Joe Madden used it. People knew he was going to use it, and he came right back with it time and time again. Just like Barney, he showed bunt on the first pitch and got it down on the second. Pierce drives it to right. Souza to his left makes the catch as Smoke tags and moves to third on the out. Here comes Kevin Cash, and he's not going to give Josh Donaldson a fourth look at Blake Snell. So Snell will pitch into the 7th. He'll leave 6 2/3. He is trailing 5-0, and the 2 runners on base are his responsibility. Tommy Hunter coming into the game to face Josh Donaldson when we come back. Washington has the lead. Tommy Hunter, you see his numbers between Cleveland and Baltimore a year ago. Hunter spent a lot of time with Texas.
In Baltimore.
He was traded from Texas to Baltimore along with Chris Davis for Koji Uehara. That was in 2011. Blue Jays have scored a run here in the 7th. They have runners at the corners with 2 outs for Josh Donaldson. Josh is 0 for 2 with a walk and a strikeout.
Chance to drive in a run. Hasn't driven in a run yet this year. He's got a runner at third base. And a big hole on the right side.
Fourth in the major leagues in driving in runs over the last 4 seasons. Donaldson finished with 99 RBIs last year. Called out on a fastball. Tommy Hunter comes in and puts out the fire. Blue Jays with a 5-0 lead. Darwin Barney with a big night with the bat. Food and beverages and no middle seating. Sometimes you need to treat yourself. Book a plus fare now at westjet.com. A lot of fans here that represent Blue Jay faithful. They are here having a good time, and Marcus Stroman has treated them to an outstanding effort tonight. 6 innings, just 3 hits, 2 walks and 5 strikeouts. He's been economical, using just 76 pitches over those 6 innings. Defensive change for the Blue Jays. Left fielder Steve Pearce is out of the ball game. Ezekiel Carrera takes over in left field. Blue Jays have hit a grand slam, and they've scored a run on a bunt single base hit.
The long and the short of it, huh?
Yep. Longoria, Miller, and Souza for the Rays here in the 7th.
You know, we were talking earlier about Marcus Stroman liking the big games. Evidence of that great showing in the World Baseball Classic. Never short on confidence. And I think he loves these types of games. Blue Jays need a win. They haven't had a win yet this year. Give me the ball. I'll win it for you. Go to New York on the big stage. He loves taking the ball. Playoffs. His record speaks for itself.
Well, when he came back from his knee surgery after a summer of rehab, he pitched 4 games in September and went 4-0 in a playoff situation. He is just a big-time, big-game pitcher. A young man in his career, just scratching the surface of his talent level. Longoria starts the bottom of the 7th with a single to center.
Well, one of the few mistakes that Marcus Stroman makes, hits right back through the middle. And notice where all these pitches are. He's got plenty of juice on the ball. There's some movement, some late movement. He can throw that breaking ball, the slider, that can pick up a few strikeouts. He can elevate if he has to. He can bend off a breaking ball. He was saying, you know, a lot of preparation went into what he has done this spring, especially in the WBC. And he says, I can feel I'm getting better. And I feel like I can do it all the time now.
You have to have control of your body to repeat your delivery. And the Blue Jays, all the players have really worked on the balance of their body. Miller hits it into left field. Carrera will hustle it back in, and that's going to get the Blue Jays bullpen up and working. Back-to-back singles here in the 7th. Pete Walker's going to buy some time for the bullpen as they're starting to stir down there. Looks like Big Joe Biagini has gotten the call first. He's the first one up tonight.
Well, that doesn't take long, huh? Cruising right along. 5-run lead. Longoria singles, Miller singles, and just like that, Blue Jays get the bullpen cranked up.
Well, we mentioned last year Marcus Stroman, 3rd time through the order. The league hit .281 against him, and this is the 3rd at bat for Longoria and Miller, and they're both on base with singles. But don't forget, the Blue Jays have turned 3 double plays behind Marcus tonight. He can get those ground balls.
He can use one right now.
The Rays have only hit 1 fly ball. That was a Corey Dickerson fly ball to left in the 4th. Ground balls and strikeouts, that's a pretty good formula. Steven Souza Jr. has had a perfect night, a single and a double. Remember, Steven Souza Jr. had to limp off the field after a hard slide at home plate in the 5th inning. And obviously he is okay and back at the plate.
Well, he slid to the inside and he missed his spot. And that was a good hitter's count, too, for Souza. His 2 hits have come against hitter's counts. Love to see him roll over on one of those breaking balls. Pull one right to the shortstop.
Tough pitch, breaking ball for a strike. Look at that grouping of pitches down and away to Souza.
With late break, too.
Stroman still has enough velocity to jam Souza. Souza's coming back from hip surgery. He had hip surgery last September 21st. That hip plagued him most of last season. He missed 30 games because of that hip injury. But he looks fine tonight. He was really running well around the bases in the 5th inning when he hit a double to the alley in left center.
Thinking about turning it into a triple. It's a big pitch right here. Doesn't want to go to 3-2.
Popped into right. Bautista is there, and Souza flies out, first out of the inning.
Home Hardware and Building Center locations, proud partners of the Toronto Blue Jays. Homeowners helping homeowners with expert advice.
Nightfall here in St. Petersburg, and the Blue Jays are playing in the bottom of the seventh. 5-0 lead for Marcus Stroman. Logan Morrison hit into an inning-ending double play in the second. Hit a ball right up the middle, and Tulowitzki stepped on the bag and threw to first to end the inning.
They really bunch him in the middle of the diamond on the infield.
There's a base hit through the right side. They're waving Longoria around third. Here's the throw to the plate. Not in time. Logan Morrison picks up the RBI, and the Rays are on the board. 3 hits in the inning.
Hit into that double play right at the shortstop, and he wasn't going to wait it around. He said, I'm going to try and pull that ball through the right side, and we'll pick up the RBI. That'll send John Gibbons to the mound.
So Marcus Stroman gets an out here in the seventh. 3 base hits in the inning, and you can say he's not happy about the way this inning has gone, but what an effort. His first start of the season. He leaves with a 5-1 lead, in line for the win. Blue Jays looking for their first win of the season. Stroman does his job. Marcus Stroman frustrated, leaving this ballgame here with 1 out in the 7th inning. He has allowed 6 hits. Ground ball, RBI, single by Logan Morrison, and now Joe Biagini will take over with 2 aboard and 1 out.
This is where Biagini really settled in last year, getting to the back end of that bullpen. He comes in and he throws strikes. He can get his share of ground ball outs also.
Beckham goes after the first pitch. Donaldson steps on third across the diamond. Another double play. 4 double plays turned by the Blue Jays. Beckham goes after the first pitch from Biagini. Donaldson made quick work of it. Stepped on the bag and fired across the diamond. The defense has been on their toes all night long. This double play ends the 7th. Snell, 24-year-old, threw 97 pitches over 6 2/3. He allowed just 4 hits, but 5 earned runs. The base on balls really got him in a jam. He walked 5, and that was his MO last year. He walked over 5 for 9 innings. He pitched last season.
3 of them came around to score tonight. 2 walks right in front of the big home run by Morales. Did him in, but we saw some baby steps tonight from Blake Snell, some improvement from what we saw last year.
Blue Jays leading it 5-4. They've been out hit 6-4 by Tampa Bay. Tommy Hunter entered the ball game with Donaldson at the plate and struck out Donaldson. He was called out looking.
Tommy Hunter's got a big arm. He was a starter early in his career. They moved him to the bullpen, and he really flourished. I mean, he was hitting triple digits a couple of years ago when he was with Baltimore. Bounced around the last couple of seasons. Made this team as a non-roster invitee to spring training.
Good pitch on the corner. The Rays had 4 non-roster invitees make their team this spring. Peter Borges, Tommy Hunter, Jesus Sucre, and Ricky Weeks Jr. That doesn't speak much about your 40-man roster when you're taking 4 non-roster invitees into camp. Mind you, Hunter and Sucre joined the team in February. Peter Borges joined the team in March.
Right at the end of spring training. That was in a trade. That's a club record. 4 players make the team out of spring training as a non-roster player.
Ricky Weeks, too, was signed February 2nd. So they rolled the dice on some veteran players, and they had good springs and made the team.
Having some trouble right here with the signs.
This was interesting, and both Sucre and Tommy Hunter were together in spring training, and when Hunter came in with 2 outs in the 7th, Sucre and Tommy Hunter were going over the signs. It was really unusual. I mean, Sucre's catching for the first time this year, but you'd think they would have their heads together on the signs.
Well, it's pretty universal. A lot of teams, you know, 1's a fastball, 2's a curve, 3's a slider. They're actually giving hand signs talking about that. You know, if I put down 3 fingers, that's a slider.
Bounce to first base. Morrison will step on the bag, and Bautista's retired. And I'll go back and talk about this is what happened. You can see the catcher giving the signs in the glove to Tommy Hunter when he first came into the game. Kind of interesting. You see that last pitch, he called 3 and then 2, and 2 was a fastball. That's why in this day and age with so much video work, it takes about 5 minutes to sit down in front of a monitor and pick up the other team's signs.
Yeah, what they're using. A lot of teams, I said 1's a fastball, 2's a curve. A lot of time 2's and 5's are fastballs. I remember
2 and 5 right there. That 2 was a fastball.
I remember sitting in spring training. It was one of my first spring trainings as a young player with the Chicago White Sox, and Carlton Fisk was trying to talk about the signs that they were going to use. That I said, Carlton, you lost me. After about 10 seconds, he's like, okay, we're going to use rollover. 2 and 5's are fastball, and it's the pump system. So if I start on 3 and I put down 4 more signs, it goes 3, 4, 5, 1, 2. So it's a 2. So I said, that's a curveball. He says, no, that's a fastball, remember?
It's not 2. It's 2.
I was so confused. It took me 5 years to figure out that system.
0-2 to Morales, and he chases a high heater and strikes out Tommy Hunter with a couple of strikeouts. He's faced 3 batters and picked up 2 Ks.
Well, I told you he's got a good arm. Still can fire it in there. Might not be hitting the triple digits, but that's just the old fastball upstairs.
Troy Tulowitzki, 0 for 3. Blue Jays have just 4 hits. That's the way it has been for them playing against Tampa Bay. We mentioned earlier how Blue Jays have hit just over 200 against the Rays last year. 206 to be exact. Late swing on a breaking ball. Finished up a story about those signs. The late Paul Splittorff was my teammate in Kansas City. We used 2 and 5 as fastballs and roll over at 5 back to 1. And he used to mouth the signs as I was calling him, so I always knew he was on the right pitch. I would give him a pitch and he'd go 2, 3, 4, 5, 1. Okay. I knew he got a curveball.
Did any of the hitters notice that?
I don't think so. But I could look at him and he would just look in for a sign, staring very intently, and count all the way through the series of signs. 2 balls and a strike to Tulowitzki. Now it's 2-2.
Did you ever put a sign down in the pitcher mouth where it is? Okay, fastball inside. So he was like thinking along with you, but unfortunately he was mouthing it out there for the hitter.
Yeah. Fastball in. 2-2 now. Donaldson and Bautista set the table for Morales when he hit the grand slam, and Hunter. A couple of strikeouts in the inning. So we'll go to the bottom of the 8th. Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead. Now time for an update. Here's Jamie Campbell and Greg Zahn in the Samsung broadcast studio.
The bottom of the 8th is Blue Jays on top of the Rays 5-1. And a reminder to everybody to live stream your favorite sports with Sportsnet Now. Stream every Blue Jays game, the Stanley Cup playoffs, Raptors, plus lots more. To sign up and get 7 days free, visit snnow.ca. To Buck.
Thank you very much, Hazel. As we move to the bottom of the 8th inning, Blue Jays looking for their first win of the season, have a 5-1 lead over Tampa Bay. Joe Biagini came in and put out the fire in the 7th. He inherited a first and second 1-out situation and got the double play. Blue Jays have turned 4 double plays tonight.
Well, they need some base runners, and Malik Smith can really bunt and really fly. How about Josh Donaldson says, try and bunt one this way.
He lifts a fly ball down the left field line. Carrera makes the catch. Ezekiel came in defensively to start the 7th.
Well, that's what Joe Biagini does. Comes in and just throws strikes. Pounds that strike zone. Got the double play on one pitch, and then one pitch here in the 8th inning to get the first out.
Jesus Sucre, the number 9 hitter and catcher, has grounded out twice to the third baseman. Taps this one toward third. That'll bounce foul. J.P. Howe cranking it up for the Blue Jays. You know, John Gibbons has been in this ballpark so many times, and the Blue Jays have had a lead late in the game only to see Tampa Bay come back and steal a win.
You better be prepared. You better have your bullpen ready because it can happen quickly. Got a couple of lefties coming up after Sucre. I don't know if he gets them, he might leave Biagini in there. Then you got another lefty right behind him, and Kiermaier. Miller's a lefty also.
One hopper to Barney at second. Sucre has grounded out 3 times tonight. 2 away from Biagini here in the 8th. Barney gets the start at second base, and he responds very favorably. Couple of singles. He scored a run, driven in a run, and drew a walk. 2 for 2.
Started a nice double play to end the 4th inning, too.
Top of the order, Corey Dickerson had one of the hits against Stroman. Dickerson's 1 for 3. He singled to center field in the 6th. Danny Farquhar, former Blue Jay, is loosening up for Tampa Bay. The Blue Jays have had 4 inning-ending double plays today. Boy, what a weapon that is. You hit a pitcher in a jam, and just like that, you're out of it.
Well, got to figure you're going to get your share of ground balls with Marcus Stroman on the mound.
Stroman led the majors in ground ball percentage last year, and he's off to a good start.
We might see the same thing on Saturday. The guy who was second was Aaron Sanchez, and Aaron's going to toe the rubber for the Blue Jays on Saturday.
Stroman, 12 of 19 outs recorded tonight were on the ground. Sanchez will make his season debut on Saturday. He'll be matched up against Chris Archer. This is high and deep to right, and it's going to be off the base of the wall. Dickerson is headed towards second. His second hit of the ball game. He's 2 for 4. Let's take a look at the line for Marcus Stroman. He goes 6 1/3. 6 hits, a single run, walked 2, and struck out 5. 5 strikeouts came in the first 3 innings, and he struck out the side in the first. Actually struck out the first 4 batters he faced here tonight.
Yeah, he was dealing at the beginning, and Blue Jays hold on, win this ball game. That'll stop a 3-game losing streak by Marcus to Tampa Bay. They got him for the last 3 starts last year. Hit him pretty hard. So a little sweet redemption.
Kevin Kiermaier had 24 hits against the Blue Jays last season. That was the 3rd most for a hitter against the Jays. Smoke has it. He'll go to the bag in time, and the Rays are done in their half of the 8th. They leave a base runner. They've stranded 4. Biagini with another solid outing. Headed into the 9th inning, the Blue Jays in line for their first win of the season, and a lot of Blue Jay fans on hand. They get a look at a former Blue Jay. Denny Farquhar made his major league debut in 2011 with the Jays. He appeared in just 3 games and didn't make it back to the big leagues until 2013 with the Mariners.
35 of them last year for Tampa Bay. You mentioned he was a former Blue Jay. The Blue Jays picked him in the 10th round in 2008. Out of the University of Louisiana Lafayette, got to the big leagues quickly. Spent some time with Seattle in the big leagues. Fastball cutter. A little bit of a curveball also.
Russell Martin walked and scored in the 7th. Fourth walk that Martin has drawn so far this season. Blue Jays offense has been stymied a little bit in the hit column. Just 4 hits for the Blue Jays, but 5 runs on the board. In case you're just joining us, Kendrys Morales hit a grand slam in the 3rd inning. Got the Blue Jays off and running and staked Marcus Stroman to an early lead.
Still, hitter still feeling out the pitchers, trying to get a feel. That ball is ripped.
Longoria, long throw in time, and we have seen Manny Machado already this season, and now we get a taste of Evan Longoria down at 3rd.
Well, get used to it. If you play in the American League, there are a ton of good third basemen. Watch the quickness, and now he knows who's running. He's going to set himself this time and throw a strike across the diamond to get the out. We have watched that for many years, haven't we?
Terrific player. Blue Jays have their own terrific third baseman in Josh Donaldson. See, Roberto Osuna sitting next to Kendrys Morales, and the Blue Jays have gotten some good news about Osuna. Sounds like he's going to be fine and ready for the opener. They will have a simulated game here on Saturday where Osuna will face some of his own hitters.
And the thought was that, hey, maybe we can send him over to extended spring or with the Dunedin team and get him an inning over there in competition. But they nixed that and said, you know what, we can control the outing just a little bit more if we make a simulated game. So he'll come out here Saturday afternoon and he'll face probably Ryan Goins, and he'll probably face Darwin Barney and some of the guys who aren't going to be playing that day. And they will simulate a game.
Maybe a regular or 2 who's off to a bit of a slow start with a chance to get up to speed facing a big league closer like Osuna.
But every indication is Roberto's fine, and he's going to be okay once he can get off that disabled list, which would be the home opener.
Home opener Tuesday, April 11th, and Smoke pulls it right into the shift. Miller from right field throws him out. Joe Smith loosening up for the Blue Jays. Joe got an opportunity to work in the season opener in Baltimore, went an inning and 2/3, allowed just a hit through just 13 pitches. Very efficient. Center fielder Kevin Pillar Pillar 0 for 3 tonight. He's 2 for 10 early on.
Talking about the hitters, and they still have their share of strikeouts, but the timing is starting to get a little bit better. That ball lifted to right field.
Souza falls on the mound and he drops the ball. One of the perils of this ballpark is the fact that the bullpens are on the playing surface in foul territory, and Pilar will have a second chance.
Redemption. There aren't many ballparks left where the bullpens are on the playing field. San Francisco, we were there last year and we saw some antics from players tripping over the mound. Sousa has to deal with the mound. He can't come up with the ball.
Oakland still has their bullpens on the playing field. Right back up the middle. A hot shot off the bat of Kevin Pilar. So Sousa gave Pilar second life, and he took full advantage of it.
That's pretty good at bat right there. Sousa checks his scouting report on Darwin Barney. You get your second at bat. Don't try and do too much. It's a good swing. Short. Tries to slip a fastball by him. Sends it right back through the middle.
So Kevin drops the head on that fastball, and he ends up 1 for 4 so far now. Darwin Barney, he's had a big night at the plate. A couple of singles. He scored a run. He's walked and driven in a run.
One of those singles was an infield single on a safety squeeze.
First and third bunt. He bunted it to Logan Morrison, who couldn't handle the play, and nobody covered first, and Barney got an RBI and a base hit. Darwin Barney is one of those veterans that just keeps himself ready every single day. He's into every game, whether he's playing or not. He's a guy that the regulars will go to and say, hey, what's this guy throw? Remind me. And Darwin will know.
Oh, he'll know. They got him. You mentioned the Blue Jays picked him up from the Dodgers when they had some injuries in 2015. He was actually playing in AAA for the Dodgers after playing a few years in the big leagues.
He was a Gold Glove second baseman playing for the Cubs.
Do they want to look at it? Is that why Darwin Barney is waiting? Do they want to look at that play over at first base?
Looks like it. The home plate umpire now has his mask off, and that's what they're going to do.
You got 30 seconds.
Yeah. And Tim Leeper saying you got to have 30 seconds, and Mike Winter is the umpire at first. He's the crew chief, and now he and Kevin Cash having a long distance conversation. But yeah, that's one of the new rules, that the managers have to ask for video review within 30 seconds. Farquhar thought he might have caught that outside corner. Doesn't get the call. It's a 1-2. 2 outs. We're in the top of the ninth.
Boy, he's putting up another good at bats. He's had 4 of them tonight. 4 really good at bats.
Well, like I said, he is always prepared, never really knows when he's going to get a chance to play, and he's just into every game. Darwin's now 31 years old, somebody that John Gibbons can really count on.
Got to keep them fresh. You know, they came out of spring training and they got their at bats and they got their playing time and they're in shape. The last thing you want to do is put a guy on the bench and not play him for a week. They get rusty.
That's why John Gibbons is trying to figure out a way to get Jared Saltalamacchia into the lineup. Barney pulls it on the ground. Beckham can't make a play on it. All hands are safe. That could be another hit for Darwin Barney. It is his 3rd hit of the night.
Well, he should get a base hit on that one after that great at bat. He found himself in the hole and then fouled off some really tough pitches. After tough pitches, then got that sinker and yanked it into the hole. Beckham can't come up with it. His only play would have been at second base.
So Darwin has half of the Blue Jays' hits tonight. Team has 6. He's got 3 of them. Darwin had 3 3-hit games a year ago. Ezequiel Carrera getting his first plate appearance of the night. He doesn't waste any time, goes after the first pitch and hits a fly ball to right. The Blue Jays get a couple of base hits, strand a pair, will go to the bottom of the ninth. Jays have a 5-1 lead. At 1 tomorrow, it'll be the Cleveland Indians out in Phoenix to take on the Arizona Diamondbacks. It all starts at 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. Pacific time. That'll be an interesting pitching matchup. Josh Tomlin goes for the Cleveland Indians against Shelby Miller, who's bounced back a little bit. Shelby had a great spring this year after a very disappointing season a year ago.
This is Joe Smith, who will come in for the second time this year. There's Joe's numbers last year in 54 games with the Angels and the Cubbies. 2-5 with a pretty good earned run average. He'll four-seam those lefties. He's got a slider. It's wicked, too. And a two-seamer. He just comes in and just fires strike after strike. And you can see from his windup, he can be tough on right-handers.
Middle of the order for Tampa Bay here in the ninth. Longoria, Miller, and Souza. They have combined to pick up 4 of the 7 Rays hits. There's that upshoot breaking ball. Little frisbee sailing breaking ball got away from Smith.
You know, I asked him about that the other day after we saw him pitch in Baltimore, and I said, "Are you trying to do that on purpose?" And he says, "Yes. To right-handers, I can throw that slider, and because I throw from down under, it looks like that ball is rising, and it's a slider, and hitters see it. They think they can hit it, but it's up and away, and it's tough for them to square it up."
Yeah, most of the time when you're facing a right-handed pitcher and you think slider, you think down and away because it's going to break down and away from you. But Smith throws that rising breaking ball. There's a little looper to right. Bautista was shaded in that direction. Longoria. 1 away. Now for a preview of what's coming up next on Sportsnet Central. Here's Carolyn Cameron and Ken Reed. Thank you very much, Carolyn. That's coming up right after this game, so make sure you Stay tuned. Big night for the Leafs playing the Tampa Bay Lightning. Brad Miller, he's 1 for 3 tonight. Single in his last at bat. Longoria and Miller singled to start the 7th. And then 1 out later, Logan Morrison singled and drove in a run, and that knocked Marcus Stroman out of the game. Jason Grilli has gotten up and thrown a bit. He hasn't thrown since Monday, the opener. So I'm sure he's just knocking off some rust.
Yeah, and just in case, if they get a couple of runners on, tying run in the on-deck circle becomes a save situation. So, you know, you mentioned it before. Blue Jays have had some awful losses in this ballpark, and they strike quickly. So as a manager, you better be ready. Better have that bullpen ready.
And there's a walk to Miller. So Smith, after getting Longoria to fly out, walked Miller. The Blue Jays, over the last 7 seasons playing in this ballpark, have gone 25-41. It's a tough place for them to close out games.
They were 5-5 last year, right? That's the 2nd time in 10 years that they haven't had a losing record.
Steven Souza Jr.'s had a good night, and this is going to drop for a base hit and bounce up against the wall. They're going to stop Miller at 3rd as the Rays just won't go quietly.
Then they never do. They make you earn every one of those outs. Even after the out by Longoria, a little fly ball to right field, he loses Miller, and just like that, Souza doubles. And John Gibbons knows that tying run is on the on-deck circle. Souza's had some good at-bats against the Blue Jays. Slider that hangs on the inside part of the plate. He's got his 2nd extra base hit of the night.
Carrera thought that ball was going to bounce out of play. He already put his arms up, but it stayed in the ballpark, and Souza ends up with his 2nd double, and that's going to knock Joe Smith out of the game. A walk to Brad Miller and the double to Souza. And John Gibbons is going to make a pitching change here in the 9th. Jason Grilli coming on to face Logan Morrison when we come back. Miller and gave up a double, and of course Roberto Osuna is on the shelf. He's disabled with a back spasm, but the Blue Jays still have some capable relievers in their pen to pick up the saves.
Jason Grilli, he was a closer at one time and a very effective setup man. Joe Smith has 29 career saves, J.P. Howe 22, and that's what John Gibbons said he's going to do He's going to use all three of these guys if he has to try and nail down a W. First one, and this is a save opportunity now. Jason Grilli in 67 games last year was awesome. 7-6, 81 punch outs for Jason last year and just 32 walks, and he brought something else. He brought some emotion to that bullpen. Whenever he came into the ball game, it was an exciting time.
Logan Morrison had an RBI single off of Marcus Stroman in the 7th. Morrison just 3 at-bats against Grilli. He's 0 for 3. 1 out, runners at 2nd and 3rd for Tampa Bay. Grilli, you can hear him reach back for a little extra and grunt when he delivers that high fastball, and he got Morrison to chase.
He puts everything he has into every pitch. See, he looks down, he's focusing, concentrating. Russell Martin will have to wait till he looks up to get the sign.
One and one to Morrison. 1-2. Grilli and Martin were teammates in Pittsburgh, so they know each other very well. And Grilli was the closer there with the Pirates.
They work really well together. Stay with that high heater. He's thrown the last 2 right by him. See Russell waiting for Jason till he's ready.
Another fastball. 94 on the radar gun from Grilli. Veteran Ricky Weeks Jr. has come out and grabbed the bat. He's waiting on deck. He will bat for Tim Beckham. Breaking ball that gets away from Martin, and that's going to give the Rays a run. Miller comes in to score. Souza moves to 3rd. The breaking ball got underneath the glove of Russell Martin and hit him on the shin guard and bounced over toward the Blue Jays dugout for a wild pitch. So it's 5-2.
Slider finally goes to the breaking ball and just couldn't get that glove down. Thought it was going to have enough carry to reach right into his glove. They will trade an out for a run right here. Infield is deep for Logan Morrison. That runner at 3rd base doesn't mean anything.
2-1 count, 1 out. 2-2 count. Now it's another 2-2 count. I want to remind you folks out west that the hockey game has started. It is over on SN Vancouver, so you can check that out, but I don't know how you turn away from this game right now. Two and two to Morrison. Breaking ball. Wow. Just off the plate.
They've missed a couple of those pitches tonight. That one looked like it might have been on the inside part of the plate and high enough.
It's a full count. A year ago, 75% base runners inherited were stranded by Grilli. Oftentimes they used him to start the innings with nobody on. Clean innings to begin. Big strikeout for Grilli as he punches out Logan Morrison.
He came back with that fastball. He got ahead early in the count with the fastball and then finished him off. That's a big out.
Well, now it'll be a pinch hitter, Ricky Weeks Jr., as you take a look at this high fastball, and Morrison just underneath it. Really, second out of the inning. Now, a matchup of former National Leaguers. Ricky Weeks Jr., pinch hitting for Tim Beckham, is 0 for 6 against Jason Grilli.
Ricky won this spot on the roster with a great spring. He was one of those players we were talking about who were non-roster player in spring training. Had a great spring, won the spot on this team.
Strike 2. Jason Grilli, we mentioned his 78 career saves. He had a career high 33 while pitching with the Pirates. Looking for number 1 here. Oh, and 2. Cut out and missed. Grilli with the strikeout. Leaves a runner at third, and the Blue Jays have a win. Russell Martin and Grilli, former teammates, enjoying that last couple of strikeouts. So Marcus Stroman wins his first game of the season. The Blue Jays win 5-2.
Sometimes that hardest is to get that first one, and the Blue Jays really had to battle for this one. They're actually out hit tonight by the Tampa Bay Rays 8-6, but the one big blow by the Blue Jays, Kendrys Morales, really the difference in this ball game. The Jays get their first win of 2017.
Kendrys Morales with a big grand slam, his first home run of the season. The Blue Jays win it 5-2. Canucks are on Sportsnet Pacific. We'll have Sportsnet Central. Here's Carolyn Cameron and Ken Reed. Thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow night.